Good day everyone. I'm Rosalinda Colorin and I was assigned to discuss about Dale's cone of experience. In 1960, Edgar Dale theorized that learners retain more information as to what they do as opposed to what they hear, what they see, and what they observe. In Dale's cone of experience, we have three levels. First is the inactive, which is what we call the direct experience. So this includes the direct purposeful experience, the contrived experience, and the dramatized experience. So let's go first with the direct experience. Direct experience is the foundation of learning. So say for example, we have the preparing of meals or snacks, or the performing laboratory experiments. So here in direct experience, the students will experience to do the actual task. Another is in contrived experience. This is the substitutes of real things. So meaning if direct experience is hands-on, here in contrived experience, it is the substitute if the thing is not feasible to bring into the classroom. So this allows a visualization that fosters better understanding to the class. So say for example, a model. So if we're going to discuss about atom, so atom is considered the smallest object or particles on earth. So since it is microscopic, we have to show a visual or picture of an atom so that the students can understand. Another is if we're going to talk about earth, so if we cannot bring the entire earth to the class, so it is not feasible, so we're going to show them a globe. So another is mock-ups. For example, we're going to discuss about planetariums. So planetariums, it's quite not feasible. So we're going to represent them about the planets and talk about the sizes and distance from each other. Another is, if we're going to talk about the objects, we have the artifacts. No? So another is a dramatized experience. So it is a process of communication in which both participant and spectators are engaged. So here in dramatized experience, it gives a better understanding of the event or concept as they are immersed themselves to the as if situation. So for example, in dramatized, we have the pageant, role play, pantomime, puppets, or the formal plays. So another level is the iconic. So iconic or the pictorial or visual experiences. So this includes demonstrations, study trips, exhibits, educational television, motion pictures, and recordings, radio still pictures. So let's go first with the demonstration. So demonstration is showing how a thing is done, efficiency of a concept, and a method or process. So this includes 5 steps. So first, if we're going to demonstrate something into the class, we have to explain. The instructor will have to explain. And how are we going to do this? So here, another is second, we have to demonstrate. So if we're going to talk about anything else, then for example, how to cook a banana cue. So we have to demonstrate, then peel the banana or anything. Then another is third, we have the students performance. So this time the students will perform the task. Fourth is the instructor supervision. So here the instructor will supervise the students. And fifth, we have the evaluation, which is the students get the opportunity to prove that they can do without the instructor's assistance. So next is the study trips. So it is the students will observe an event that is unavailable to the classroom. So, for example, field study, field trip. Okay. Another is third, we have the exhibits. So these are the displays that can be seen by spectators. So it consists of working models, charts, or posters. So exhibits have two parts. We have the ready-made and the homemade. Ready-made, gani, example ana is the museum. So the homemade example ana is the classroom projects, or another that is made from home. Third is the educational television. So educational television brings immediate interaction with events from around the world. So for example, we have the TV coverage of 9/11 attack. So we know the details by the through television. We know the details how the terrorists attacked the World Trade Center, and we know more information to this. Next is the motion pictures. So it is used to slow down a fast process. So by this, students can easily understand what does a presentation all about by slowing down. So say for example, we're showing some slides and the process are too fast, so we have to slow down it so that the students can understand what are we showing to them. Next is the recordings or radio still pictures. It can offer or understood by those who cannot read. So kaning recordings, radio still pictures, maka-advantage ang katong dili kaayo kabasa. So katunay mga dyslexia or anything na problema sa kanang eyesight or kanang dili ka tigo mobasa. So it is helpful to students who can deal with the pace of real event. So an example ani is listening to music or listening to old radio broadcast. So the third level, we have the symbolic or the highly abstract experiences. So we have two types. We have the visual symbols. So visual meaning, so we are going to use our sense of seeing or the eyes. So it helps the students to see an event. Another here is the verbal. I'll give you an example of the visual symbols. We have the chart, the graphs, the diagrams, or the chalkboard. Here, another type is the verbal symbols. So verbal meaning, it has something to do with the sense of speaking or talking. So this includes written work fall under this category. So those are the levels of the cone experience introduced by Edgar Dale. So let's proceed to the next reporter.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. I'm going to discuss about the TPACK framework. TPACK is a technology integration framework that identifies 3 types of knowledge instructors need to combine for successful integration. These are the content knowledge, technological knowledge, and the pedagogical knowledge. Content knowledge is, when we say content knowledge, kaugalingong pagsabot sa usa ka maestra about sa iyang specific subject matter. When we say pedagogical knowledge is a specialized knowledge of a teacher to create an effective teaching and learning environment to the students. So, kanus aman ta makaingon nga effective ang atong pagtudlo. So, after sa among discussion or sa imong lesson, pwede ka mo-insert na mga activities aron maka-interact ang imong mga estudyante. Kung kasabot sila kung maka-answer siya sa imong activity, that means nga effective ang imong pagtudlo. Next is technological knowledge. Technological knowledge When we say technological knowledge, describes teachers' knowledge of and ability to use various technologies, technological tools, and associated resources. So, technological knowledge kay ang pagtudlo nimo imong abilidad paggamit sa mga technology para matudlo nimo ang imong content, ang imong buot imong lesson sa mga estudyante with the use of technology. Next is technological content knowledge. So technological content knowledge describes teachers' understanding of how technology and content can both influence and push against each other. So technological content knowledge refers to knowledge about how the technology may be used to provide new ways of teaching content. For example, digital animation. So badayos ang technology content knowledge kay combination siya sa technology ug sa content. So for example, digital animation. So magngita ka og mga video clip ron nga imong ipakita sa mga estudyante about sa imong lesson, then with the use of mga computers or mag-film showing ba mo, mao na siya ang technological content knowledge. Next is technological pedagogical knowledge. So when we say technological pedagogical knowledge, describes teachers' understanding of how particular technologies can change both teaching and learning experiences by introducing new pedagogical affordances and constraints. So technological pedagogical knowledge is combination siya sa technology ug sa pedagogical. Di ba ang technology kay magpag-use man sa mga digital tools, while the pedagogical is ang pag-create og effective teaching and learning. For example, kanang magtudlo kasi mga estudyante og cursive writing or something, magsulat og letters sa mga lower grades. So, para mayos ang technological pedagogical knowledge, mangita kag mga instructional video clips nga mo ipakita sa mga estudyante og unsaon pagsubay nila, unsaon paghimo para mas dali sad nga masabtan sa estudyante kay mas dali man lang masabtan kung naa sila makita or masubay. Is the pedagogical content knowledge. Pedagogical content knowledge describes teachers' knowledge regarding foundational areas of teaching and learning, including the curricular development, student assessment, and reporting results. So, pedagogical content knowledge, gicombine na sad ang pedagogical and the content. So, when we say pedagogical, katong mag-create effective teaching and learning environment, while the content katong imong kaugalingong pagsabot sa maestra sa iyang specific subject matter. So kung i-combine ang duha, so like maghimo ba karon og nabaroy reporting or assessment nga imong ihatag sa mga estudyante, diha nimo makita ang pedagogical content knowledge kung naa ba jud sila nasabtan sa imong lesson. So mao siya ang pedagogical content knowledge, ang pagkuha niya sa nakamuhatag kag mga assessment or mga activity para mas matest nimo kung nakasabot ba jud sila sa inyong mga discussion. So TPAC is an essential part of the education system today as it incorporates the growing demand on the use of technology in the classroom, as well as continuing the focus of the content and how we teach it. Therefore, it sets up education for the future as well as setting up the students for their future. That's all. Thank you.
Good morning, Mom. Good morning, classmates. So my topic for today is all about Azure Model. Azure Model is an instructional design model that has the goal of producing more effective teaching and learning. Azure is just an acronym that stands for various steps in the model. So when we talk about steps, so kinahanglan magsunod yun na siya, dili na siya pwede magkasaksak sinagol. So Azure Model will help you to become one of an effective teacher in teaching. We both know that any effective teacher knows that perfection of their technique will not come overnight. Just like teachers, right? Wala man na sila ni nahimong usa ka maestra or wala man sila nahimong usa ka teacher in just one night, right? It took how many years? 20 years? Maybe? Usa pa na siya nahimong maestra. So just like for us to become an effective teacher in teaching, it will have a steps or a process. So as what I have said a while ago, that Assure is just an acronym. Each letter corresponds meaning. A stands for Analyze Learner. S stands for State the Objectives. Next, select media and materials. Utilize media and materials. Require learner participation. And lastly, evaluate and revise. The first thing we will discuss, or the first process or step in Assure model, is Analyze Learner. In this step or process, the teacher should analyze the attributes of her learners. The teachers really need to know the characteristics that are associated with the learning outcomes desires. So as a teacher, you really need to know the capacity of your students kung unsay ilahang makaya nga ma-cut-on. That is very important. Next is state the objectives. After you analyze the learner's attributes, the teacher must, or you need to state standards, or you state expectations towards to your students on their learning capacity. Next is select media and materials. In this process, this is the time you need to select wisely the strategy or the strategiya nga imong gamiton sa pag-discuss or sa imuhang klase sa imong mga estudyante. Sa imuhang gamiton nga technology or mga materials nga imuhang gamiton para sa imuhang discussion. Para that given what are your learning objectives are. Para makam up sa imuhang gipaninguha or kung unsa man tong imuhang gibutang nga objective sa imuhang discussion or sa unsay imuhang paninguha, maotoy magawas, maotoy result kon baga. So next is utilize media and materials. In these steps, the process concerns making a plan as how you will utilize the technology and materials you are going to use. These plans contribute towards producing the objectives that you have laid down. Next is require learner participation. In this plan, you are going to plan on how to make or how to being and actively engaged to your students. Unsaon nimo mahibaw-an nga kanang participate imuhang kanang estudyante. This would rely on your strategy nga imuhang gikuha or imuhang giselect. That's why, as what I have said a while ago, we really need choose wisely kung unsay atong strategy nga atong buhaton or unsay atong strategy nga atong himuon or atong i-apply sa atong discussion. For us nga ang imong estudyante is mo participate sa imong discussion. How you will going to know nga mo participate ang imong estudyante? Once makita nimo sa ilahang mga mata palangdaan kung naminaw ba sila nimo or kanang ni-obey ba sila sa imong discussion. And lastly, at your discussion, you really need to evaluate and revise your students' learning. How you are going to evaluate your students? Simply by asking them questions, giving them quizzes or assignments. So once nga maka-answer sila easily or maka-catch up sila or sa imuhang mga pangutana, it means you are one of the effective teacher in teaching. And applause to you. You are one of them. Thank you.
SAMR model.
SAMR model is a model designed to help educators infuse technology into teaching and learning. and even supports and enables teachers to design, develop, and infuse digital learning experience that utilize technology.
SAMR is a developed model for educators to clarify on how they are engaging technology in teaching and learning. SAMR is categorized into 4 different degrees or stages. The letters SAMR stands for S, substitution, A, augmentation, M, modification, and R, redefinition.
Substitution uses technology as an alternative.
So in substitution, technology is a tool substitute with no functional change, or it is direct replacement. Just like, for example, word processor is used as a paper or a typewriter. So the technology that substitute the paper or the typewriter is the word processor.
Augmentation, a functional improvement in the use of technology tool.
So in augmentation, technology is a tool substitute with some improvements. Technology is again substituted for a traditional one, but with significant enhancement to the student's experience. For example, using spell check to correct errors enhances the function of the task. So in substitution and augmentation, the instructor in this 2 level only enhances the learning but does not transform it.
Modification, technology is used to design a lesson.
So in modification, technology allows for significant lesson redesign. In this level, you are beginning to move from enhancement to transformation on the model. It is an actual change of the design and its learning outcome. Just like, for example, using Google Docs to collaboratively write or leave comments for one another significantly changes the task.
Redefinition, technology allows the creation of a new concept that has not been previously conceptualized.
So in redefinition, technology allows for creation a new task previously inconceivable. This represents a pinnacle of how technology transforms a student's experience. It also allows educators to redefine a traditional task in a way that the world would not be possible without technology, creating a novel experience. Just like, for example, writing a blog post to share work with the world and adding related multimedia create an all new task previously impossible.
Infographics showing relation of SAMR and Bloom's revised taxonomy.
So there are 6 levels of cognitive learning according to the revised version of Bloom's taxonomy. The first one is remembering, which means to recall. The second one is understanding, which means to comprehend. The third is applying, using information or skill into a new situation. Fourth is analyzing, which means to determine. Fifth, evaluating, which means make judgments. And the last one, or the 6th one, is creating, which means to organize.
By linking Bloom's taxonomy to SAMR, we are able to create tasks with specific objectives linked to curricula that deeply embed technology and are enhanced by its use rather than using technology for the sake of it. In other words, we can design complex and authentic tasks that are made possible only through the use of technology.